So it must mean you can't say slow down. Just because you're familiar with the high speeds doesn't mean you can get them. And just because you're a captioner and you've been blown away by a weather forecaster or sports forecaster, which I have, sports commentator, doesn't mean you can write it. It just means you've tried to write it. This doesn't speak anything about the skill level. The results were all over the map. Well, you would expect that. You'd expect some people to write short and some to write long. The lowest number for those 150 words was 146. Truly a briefer. Are you kidding me? So 146 is barely less than 1 stroke per word. There are many times that I and others have written considerably below 1 stroke per word. That's pretty short. A little under 1 stroke per word is pretty short. So that's the shortest he was able to find, is one person who barely wrote less than 150. I admit that's pretty short. You're saying truly a briefer. Yes, I would say they are a briefer. I wouldn't say they are necessarily a super advanced briefer. Depends on the newscast. We don't know what the list was. Yes. A typical newscast, it's hard to say. Were they doing a news story? Was it, if it was weather, you could get it much shorter than that because we have tons of weather briefs. It's hard to say. The highest, 216, truly a long writer. 216? 216? That's really, really, really long. And that person, if they write out 216 strokes for 150 words, I guarantee you that they are dropping a lot. What they write may be clean, but someone who writes out that much cannot keep up with high-speed captioning. I guarantee it. If you think they can, bring them to my booth, and I'll read them something at even 220 words a minute, literary at 220 or 230, and have them write 1.4 times as strokes per word like they're doing there. They're almost doing 1.5. 1.5 strokes per word would be 225 strokes. They did 216. So it's about 1.4 probably. Well, he just sent them the text, and they just wrote it out. Okay, so that person, truly a long writer, you're right, they are truly a long writer, and in fact, that's among the longest I've ever heard. Most people were right in the 180, 190 range. 180 is, from calculation on top of my head, that's 30 words more than 150. That's 1/5. That means 1.2 strokes per word. I consider 1.2 strokes per word on at least literary to be slightly high. It's in the moderate range. 1 stroke per word is short. The other person was long. And yes, this 180 would be right in the middle, right in between, really somewhat short and somewhat long. Following the logic that long writers struggle and that the shortest writers have more time to be accurate, well, that's absolutely true. That is logic. So let's follow that. I agree. Following the logic that long writers struggle and that the shortest writers have more time to be accurate, it may be surprising that one of the longest writers was Jennifer Bonfiglio. She is one of the country's top captioners. All right. This gets difficult because I know of Jennifer Bonfiglio. I don't know her personally, though I believe I've talked to her once on the phone. I know her because she sends out a list called the Captioner Database, which helps captioners to network between ourselves if we need someone else to cover a job, etc. It's a good service. But I don't know how we find out if someone is a top captioner in the country, other than if a firm owner, if a caption firm owner themselves says, oh yes, she captions for us and she is super accurate. Now, that could be the case. I haven't heard. So, I'm saying, you are saying she's one of the country's top captioners. She may be. I don't know. But I haven't seen her place in the real-time contests. Maybe she has. Lately we've had sometimes 15, 20 people qualify, so maybe she is in there. So that could be. But if she writes a lot out, you know, it's true. There are some people that write everything out and they are pretty good. I would attribute that to them having very fast fingers and being very talented. But since writing everything out is just like having an automobile that is heavy, then that would be like, oh, he has a fast car and he keeps a 200-pound weight in the back of it just for fun. Well, the car is still fast, but it would be faster if you would take the 200 weight out. And assuming Jennifer Bonfiglio is a top captioner, she would be much better if she wrote shorter, period. So it's possible to have someone fast that writes out, but that means their fingers have to be extra fast, which makes it really hard to be accurate. Keep in mind also, when you're captioning, people that have trouble keeping up in captioning, they edit. They write the meat of it. They leave things out so it will be clean. That doesn't mean you're getting verbatim. Those of us who write short, we get very close to verbatim when we caption. Verbatim. Close to it. Very close. Those who write everything out, they get far from verbatim. Believe me, most of them. If there's an exception, and if Jennifer is one of those, where she gets mostly verbatim and writes everything out, then she's got very fast fingers. Very accurate. She is extraordinary. And she'd be the best in the world if she shortened her writing to my level. She'd be far better than me because she has fingers moving a lot faster than I do. So it's nothing to brag about to have a heavy weight in the back of your racing car. Writing everything out is the heavy weight. So I'm going to continue. About her results, she said, I am an RMR, so I do not believe writing out has affected my speed. Let's stop right there. RMR is great. Well, sure, it's affected your speed. If you wrote shorter, you would be even faster. So yes, some people that write everything out get the RMR, and I find that amazing, and I'm proud of them, and it's a great accomplishment. I would hate to have to try to pass the RMR while writing everything out. It has affected your speed. If you don't believe it, then you simply don't understand how briefing works, Jennifer. It sounds like you haven't tried it. Bless your heart. I'm glad you're as good as you are. And I guarantee you if you wrote shorter, you would be even better. Let's continue her quote. It's actually helped me build my speed because when I can use briefs, like for names during sporting events, I get to relax a little bit and take it down a notch. Let me read that again to you. I want you to catch this. She is saying that writing everything out helps her build her speed. Listen to this again. It's actually helped me build my speed because when I can use briefs, like for names during sporting events, I get to relax a little bit and take it down a notch. Here, she's admitting that when she uses briefs, she relaxes a little. That's what I've been saying all the 10 years I've been teaching on writing short. I've been saying it's easier, it's more relaxing, and it's more accurate. Now she's admitting that and using it as evidence that it's helped her gain speed. So, meaning writing out has helped her build her speed? I don't understand. Let's continue. If you are always writing at your top speed using briefs, there is no wiggle room. There isn't anything you can do to help you when it's beyond your speed ability. Do you see the logic or lack thereof in that statement? Let me read it again. If you are always writing at your top speed using briefs, there is no wiggle room. There isn't anything you can do to help you when it's beyond your speed ability. Well, those of us who brief and we're writing at our top speed, it's true. Everyone who writes at their top speed has no wiggle room, period. You don't have any. And everyone who writes at their top speed but now adds new briefs gains some speed. That's true of both sides. However, when we who write short are at our top speed, assuming all other things equal, assuming, Jennifer, that I have the same finger speed that you, which may or may not be true, then if I'm writing at my top speed with briefs and I have no wiggle room, I'm going to be writing faster than you, period. if we have the same finger speed and I'm using my briefs